Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be back here again after opening this room. I see some familiar faces, so great guys to see around. Some have already been converted to KBC, but there are more to come. So very happy to be back at the Technical University and this beautiful room, and I hope that you guys are using it. So that's and to continue to use it in the future as well. But today we are here about something else, and I'll be very happy and honored to welcome our group CIO, Isabel, who's going to lead us through a very interesting presentation on customer-centric FinTech innovations that we have at KBC. So I hope I find it interesting, and without further ado, Isabel, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Very nice meeting you as well for the people who are offline and who are not here with us here at the university. I think you see a lot of young people, young faces. I have children who are around your age. I have two girls, one of 17 and one of 19 at home. So the one of 19 is as well studying, as well in the Technical University. I'm first going to a little bit introduce myself. I am the Chief Information Officer at KBC. I started at KBC 1 year ago, but I bring a career experience of 29 years before I joined KBC. So I have been done a few things in my career, but just to highlight with you. I have been most of my time always in a technical position, in an IT position. I studied physics actually and biomedical engineering at universities in Belgium, 2 universities. And then my first job was actually research at university in Leuven, where I have been researching about how new technologies could actually help and benefit the life of people with special needs. It was really about people with muscle diseases and how new technologies at that time can make a difference. Now we speak of then about 29 years ago. It's probably impossible for you to imagine, but hardly no mobile phones because it just started. The GSM standard was just launched. No Wi-Fi's, no internet, or hardly internet was starting. So at that time already imagine what would telco, what would multimedia bring and what can it do. So at that time I was also integrating and building the first video conferencing applications, integrating APIs, things we all do today, but 29 years ago were not so obvious. Yeah. But I had an amazing time there. Then I moved on in my career. I have worked in telco. I have worked at IBM, where I have really deepened my expertise in different industries, but as well into architecture and solutioning. I have been director of a media company, and in a previous life, I was a chief data officer of another bank. Yeah? So you will see data coming back as well. And data is, I think, is a new gold, as they say today. So it's also something which is very close in everything what we do at KBC. Yeah. So today, I hope I will be able to inspire you a little bit about what we are doing at KBC. But before first, I know for those of you who are present here, you know KBC probably already as well because you have been introduced. But because I didn't know who else is actually participating in the session today, I have introduced a few slides to introduce you to KBC. We are a market leader on both banking and insurance. And you will see as well that today, in everything that we're doing, we're going even beyond banking and insurance. So we're really looking into what can we do and how can technology help us to as well further increase our business models and to see what we can do to earn even, earn money, but as well bring value in society beyond banking. Maybe you recognize or you may have known about KBC, but we were very proud with the full team that our KBC mobile app has been chosen as the best banking app, financial app worldwide. That was done by SIA. It's one of the worldwide recognized companies that is doing an independent investigation of all the apps. And we know as well the reason why we have won that recognition. The years before we were every time at position 2 and 3. But you see as well that the other companies that they have been mentioning, or most of the time, have been FinTech companies. That means as well that there is quite some competition behind us. And the big difference has been with everything that we do around innovation, and especially with Kate, our personal digital assistant, has made a big difference in realizing that. So today I want to walk with you a little bit about Kate, how innovation played a role into the existence of Kate, how we building Kate, different parts of Kate I will explain to you. And I will also just share with you as well about our Kate coin, another new innovation that we are launching today. And yes, we are having more innovations in front of us, but I cannot disclose those with you. But first, let me explain to you a little bit about KBC. At KBC, so we are a bank active in 6 countries at the moment. I'm saying at the moment because we're selling Ireland, but we are active in Belgium, where we are the primary bank and insurer there. We are also active in Czechia, in Slovakia, Hungary, and Bulgaria. In total, we're talking here about 11 million customers, which is significant over those 6 countries, and about 3.5 million customers in Belgium. We're talking about 1,300 branches that we are having over those countries to reach out to our customers, to interact with them face to face. We're using independent agents, especially as well for everything around insurance. But we also are having and investing a lot in whole digitalization and about using different channels, omni-channels like they call it, to interact with our customers. So not only through the branches, which is a very traditional way of interacting with your customers, but as well using digital and omni-channels. We are focusing on retail, as you can see, retail customers. We're also focusing on more the business customers, the SME they call it, so small, medium enterprise companies, as well as big business companies. So you see here some figures. I'm not going to share them with you, but maybe what I can still say is that the headquarters of KBC is in Belgium. So for me as well, I mean, I became CIO of KBC last year, and I have chosen very consciously to work for KBC because myself, I am from Belgium. I have worked a lot in international companies in my career, and then I think becoming CIO of a big Belgian bank is as well, I think, is quite nice. It's nice because otherwise you move abroad and you become a CIO or CDO of other international companies. So it's good as well if you can do that for an own company. Yes. And so this is KBC, some small introduction, but also let's have a look into the IT. So I'm as Chief Information Officer, I'm responsible for the full IT of KBC in Belgium, but as well for the IT that we do for the group functions and the group systems. So let me explain it a little bit. Group functions means everything about finance, HR, risk. So we are a systematic bank. A systematic bank means as well that we are regulated by the ECB, the European Central Bank, the Belgian National Bank, that are actually controlling us. And we have a license to operate as a bank and an insurer. But in reply, we also have to make sure and show them that we're compliant to a lot of regulations that they're putting in place. And so group functions is often the finance and HR and risk that are a lot, especially risk and finance, are a lot about all the regulatory reporting that we have to do to the regulator. Group systems, and that's something as well that what attracted me as well to work for KBC was the fact that at KBC, as we are active in multiple countries, there has been a conscious choice made that there is a CIO in every country. So there is also in UBB, there is a CIO, in CSOB, in Czechia, there is a CIO, and there is no, let's say, and the reason why this attracted this to me is because I have been working in other companies where the headquarters were somewhere else and where everything was decided centrally in the headquarters, and then they ask all the other countries just execute. Now, why don't I like this? Because that means that all the talents, all the people that you're surrounding yourself with, you cannot bring the best out of the people because you cannot, think, co-create, design. And that's exactly what is not happening at KBC. So although we have the same regulations, the way how we solve the problems can be different, and it is different. The way how we have IT and our full landscape in Belgium is different than it is in Czechia. It is different than it is in Hungary or in Bulgaria. And for me, that is a good thing. Why? Because on Wednesday, I go to the CIO community, which I'm leading with the other CIOs of KBC Group. And we are peers. And we can exchange experience. We can exchange, how do you solve this problem? How do you do this? Yeah. So that means that, you keep people sharp. And as well, the people that you're attracting, the people that you're working with, you really want people to be engineers, people to think with you, people to co-create with you, people to innovate with you. Yeah. Now, with some new plans and products that we want to do, we also have decided as KBC that, okay, for certain things, we're going to design and build them as group functions. And Kate is one of these examples. That means we're going to build Kate. It was not only built in Belgium, it was built together with the people in Czechia, from KBC Czechia. And we're going to build this together, and then we're going to replicate or copy this in every other country. That means that for those things, we say we're not going to reinvent the wheel in every country. But there are first at start, other countries got the opportunity to actually decide to participate or not in the building of it. So coming back to KBC IT, because I started there, is that, so this is our scope. And when I will be talking today, I will be talking on behalf of COIM for KBC IT for supporting Belgium group functions and group systems. Today we have, and that's getting quite unique as well, we have quite a big IT department. We have 2,700 employees servicing KBC IT, meaning Belgium group functions and group systems. That's a big team. That's a huge team. Even in Belgium, I think it's the biggest IT department in full Belgium. Now, the reason is that because KBC has decided in the past and is still continuing on along this way, is that we really want to keep knowledge in-house. We really, and that's another figure that you see here, is we even want to grow our number of internal people. Because we have seen in the past, and we believe in the future as well, if all the disruptions happening around us, the transformations happen in the industry around us, it is important that you have an agility. And having an agility means you need knowledge, you need engineers around you, you need people who understand what we're doing. And so as an organization, we have decided that although we have today 1,400, 500 internals, we want to grow our internal footprints. So today we have for Belgium, for KBC, we have internals in Belgium, quite a lot. We have about 1,400 internals in Belgium. And then we also today already have internals in Budapest, in Prague, and here in Varna, and we're also starting in Sofia. Yeah, why these locations? Because these are the locations where we also have banks. And that looks like, makes a logical extension of it. But the people, you're part of one team, one inclusive IT team, focusing on servicing KBC Belgium group functions and group systems. Our ambition is to grow even more. As I say, we want to go to 70% internals. Today we are at 56. So we have been growing a lot with a lot of externals. We want to decrease externals because we want to in-house more knowledge. And we really want these internals to not only be internals in Belgium, we want internals to really grow internals in nearshore locations. So Varna, Sofia, Prague, and Budapest. In Budapest, we have two data centers from which we're servicing the other KBC international markets. The people that are working with us in Prague are mainly data specialists, servicing with us on our full data trains. Everything that we'll do, I will explain later about data lake, supporting our Kate platform, but as well supporting our reporting towards the regulator. So this is where we are. So our ambition is to really grow our internal footprint because we know that in moments of delivering, it really makes a difference. It makes a difference in the agility that we have as an organization. So now I want to just share with you, this is the strategy of the bank. And it may not be a surprise because quite some things you can expect to be present on this. First of all, customer experience. As you all probably know, everybody wants to delight its customers. I mean, in the past, we always went from the branches to the omni-channels. And now it's really about how do I make sure that with mobile first, I really can give my customers such a huge, nice experience. Refreshingly, experience, a frictionless experience. And in KBC, we go quite far along this. Because CX, customer experience, is important, not only in the design, but as well we have user labs. We have customers inviting them to our offices, and really testing with them the first concept of new products, new ideas. And we're really looking to the end-to-end journeys. So how can we make sure that what we offer to them really is going to be intuitive, it's going to be, you know, nice to use, and it will be useful for them. As well, we believe that in the things that we do, we should really look into digitalization, digital first. So meaning, yes, we have branches and we'll continue with branches, but we're going to do it hand in hand as well with digitalization. So our app, we know a lot of apps exist today, and sometimes there can be the war of getting the attention of the customers. And then it's important as well that your app at that moment in time is user-friendly, but as well as offering a lot of services, the services to him which are useful and which really help him end-to-end. And so at KBC, we have been investing as part of digitalization to really see how can we offer services, not only sales, but as well if you have questions, if you want to, you know, you can ask, for example, to ask for a loan, or you want to, for example, to get a view on your insurance card. How can I make sure I get supported, I get helped end-to-end? And end-to-end means it doesn't stop with somewhere in the back in the backend systems. There is a queue of new messages. No, it's really handled all digital end-to-end with straight-through processing, and that makes a difference. And that's really where I think as KBC as well, we have a quite good, well maintained architecture, IT landscape. Because we have our internal people for so long already, we have all these people with the knowledge in-house, it makes as well that we have well-maintained systems that can make a difference for that. And that makes the bridge to operational efficiency. In the things we do to our customer, we really want to offer them end-to-end in a digital way and with straight-through processing. And then the last word I will still explain is data-driven. I think data is a new gold or a new oil, depends on how you look at it. And really, you know, with data, everything that we do with the customer, it's more and more digitalized, means as well that you have more and more data. And this data, things that you can, you know, insights you can create from it, data that you can correlate. Probably don't have to tell all of you. And that really can fuel again automations, but can fuel again our personal digital assistant Kate, which I will come back in a minute. So here you see a picture of our CEO, Johan Thijs. He's also, I think, a well-known, very respected CEO, not only in Belgium, but worldwide. And he's saying, you know, with this whole digitalization and customer experience, it's not about digital versus human, it's about human and digital working together. And so it's digital with a human touch. And that's really where we want to make sure that, people don't see it like, you know, it's one or the other. No, it's together. And you're going to see what are the strengths and how can we help our employees to be more efficient using digital, but as well how can we offer our customers better in a digital way and in a human way, wherever there is a need or a preference. So in the next of the presentation, I'm going to go deeper into Kate, our digital assistant, our personal assistant, about how she has been built, how she came to be born, but as well about the spirit. Really, the mindset is we want to bring to our customers the ease of mind and really this refreshingly frictionless customer experience. So, no, but it's not. No, it's next. Oh. It's not. So, at KBC, so as IT, we are in the front seat of this journey of building the solutions with the customer, with our business colleagues. And I have put in here a roller here, because it's a roller coaster. Because as well, that's sometimes how we feel it, how we experience it. Because our business colleagues, they have so many ideas about new products, new services that they want to bring into production. And Kate is the one I will explain. Then we also will explain a little bit about KateCoin. And it sometimes feels like you're being on a roller coaster of how things, but we are in this front seat because we are actually building it, you know, with the business, with a lot of tools. Now, we have used in the title of the presentation, we have used the word innovation. It all starts with innovation. And I don't know if you recognize or if you know this picture here on the left side. It's a Belgian entrepreneur. It's called Peter Hinsen, and he has been writing books about how to look to technology. And one of the books is called About the Day After Tomorrow. It actually is a very simple representation about how to look to companies. And let me explain it. On the left side, you have about how much time, so it can be about how much time do you spend as an organization on your systems. It's about the shit of yesterday, all your old legacy systems. It's about the systems that you have in production today. It's about what will you bring into production tomorrow. This is the day after tomorrow. It's about spending effort on your innovations. Yeah. Depending on the company you work for, you will see a different amount of effort that you're spending on which category, but you have all the categories there. If you have companies spending a lot of effort on the shit of yesterday or the problems of today, and therefore don't have time to spend effort on innovation. You have only few companies who can spend enough time as well on innovation and therefore make sure that they are ready or they bring the disruption in the market when they want. Now within KBC, innovation is really part of what we wanted to be part of our DNA. I have an innovation lab reporting to me, and they are actually responsible for technical experimentation and innovation. Now it is important for us as a company that we want to be ready from a technology point of view. So when the business decides that you want to bring new products in production, that we are ready, or build new products, that we are ready and we have been experimenting with. So we need to be a few steps ahead. Why? So when they come with ideas, we can say this is going to work, this is not going to work. So we can accelerate certain things about building and launching it. Now for Kate, our digital assistant, there is a lot of technology experiments that have started years before we actually launched Kate. Kate was launched in Belgium 1.5 years ago. Now the first experiments with chatbots at that time was from 2018, 2017. Yeah. So you can see that about 3 to 4 years before you launch a product, you actually start with different type of experiments. And quite some will fail. And sometimes you will say about, okay, we tried it out, but it doesn't seem to bring value. But at one moment in time, things come together. And then you think, okay, this will make a difference. So if you look into innovation, you also have different stages. And the stages go from right to left. So you start with inspiration. And we actually have within KBC, we have a part of the organization, which is our strategic department. They are having a full-time job to only look over the whole world, what is happening, what are the technology trends, what are the business trends, and they're putting that into what we call a quadrant. And they create the KBC trend book. It's a secret book, only for the internals, and it gives us a view every 6 months about what are the trends that our specialists, strategics, are actually predicting. It's really happening now. We should go to market, for which we have to prepare and start to experiment, and which they put on the wait list. And so they look into and they study all of this. And it's with them that together with my the Surf Studio, the Innovation Lab reporting to me, we are with them in contact. And once a year we decide which of these technology trends do they see we're going to experiment with. And so we decide on these experiments. And that means that then during a full year, we're going to do technical experimentations with them. And actually today, this afternoon, we're starting the kickoff of a hackathon that we will do within KBC on some new technology trends for the future. And so after inspiration, by getting it on a trend book, reading about it, getting inspired through some presentation from colleagues, you can actually start with exploring. That's typically what happens. We have an innovation board, a technical innovation board, business innovation boards, and there we decide, okay, what are the type of experiments we want to do. So people are exploring, ideas are being formed, use cases are being formed, and then we are going to the experimentation. Now, the interesting part is when you have the full incubation. When something goes into experimentation for a while, and then really goes into industrialization. That's the part where as well you say, okay, once I go into industrialization, I will bring these new products, which will then be in production. I'm going to move them to the rest part of my organization. I bring them in the business as usual. So that's really this whole phase of going up to experimentation and incubation is well fed and doesn't get polluted too much because of processes and policies. So in the next slide, I'm going to share with you a video that was made. Actually, there were 2 videos made, but again, as part of this innovation lab I just explained to you, they were thinking about what could a personal assistant like Kate do for our company. And at that moment in time, so in 2018, they made a video, a vision, inspirational vision. How would it look like? Now, I cannot share this one because it's confidential information, but I can share with you because afterwards they made a second one, but more for as well to share with the public. And I'm going to share this one with you.
Hey, ik ben Kate. Benieuwd wat ik allemaal kan?
Hey Kate, kunt je snel mijn treinticket betalen?
Doe ik meteen. Hey Charlie, wil je weten hoe je kan besparen op je energiefactuur?
Kate, geef die groene kaartjes.
Geen probleem.
Oh, Kate, is mijn loon al gestort?
Ja hoor. Zal ik even je parkeersessie beëindigen?
Zeg Kate, wat is mijn hospitalisatienummer?
Ik ben Kate, je digitale KBC-assistant. Je vindt me hier in KBC Mobile. Vraag maar en bespaar je tijd en geld.
Freedom.
Okay. So this was Kate, and this was actually the inspiration that you can come as well as part of the Innovation Lab. Is they also make these inspirational visions and views about how could we help our customers with a personal digital assistant from our app. And so I also will share with you and reflect with you a little bit about what does it mean from a technology point of view? What will that mean to an IT landscape of a company? How can we really build these data-driven solutions? And if you look back to that, if we reflect back about what you just have been seeing, there are 2 types of use cases. It's about you, a person, asking questions to Kate. And so Kate will react on that. And in this case, you can ask the question to Kate by typing, or you can just use speech. And we support both of them. And meanwhile, we support Kate in different languages because we also have rolled out Kate in each of the countries. Yeah. And then you also have scenarios where Kate is suggesting things to you because somehow she got intelligence to really see what is happening and to share with you what would be good for you in that moment in time. So how do we do that? That's what we're going to discover in the coming 15 minutes. So you to Kate, you're asking questions to Kate. You can ask questions to Kate about many things. Now in the core, we are a bank and an insurer. So we started as well with making sure that you can ask questions to Kate about core banking transactions, about core insurance transactions. Like Kate, I want to do a payment transfer. Can you help me with that? Or Kate, I would like to have a new debit card. Can you order this card for me? Now, what we made sure as well when we actually offered this is that this was done every time from a digitalization point of view, from an end-to-end point of view. So if you order a new card, a new debit card or credit card, it was also going into the backend systems to actually create this new order. And so your whole logistics end-to-end are matched to it. And it's not just creating a queue for somebody else to then to coordinate things behind the scenes, because then you don't help yourself as a company neither, because then you just create a nice front end, but in reality, you will have mismatches because if things don't go well, the customer will not be informed. So let me go further into some examples about, for example, you can ask in a very personal way, you can ask, for example, Kate, in the example, give me a proof of my insurance card, because I have been asked maybe under some conditions to show my insurance card. Or it could be, I have an accident and I want to now, and that's the other thing, I know I have an accident with my car. I want to start register it on my mobile phone. I don't have to fill in the papers anymore, but I'm being guided in this whole journey as a customer. And this is all from the one banking app. So, and you can even indicate in there about, okay, where do you have damage? And yes, it's covered by your insurance. And even what? It doesn't have to stop here, because in the journey, the next step is about, okay, now I need to make an appointment with some garage to actually, you know, to renovate my car or to re-impair my car. Yeah, but these are examples of banking and insurance. So in the video, you also have seen other examples. You also may remember, hey, Kate, I need a train ticket. Can you buy a train ticket for me? Or, hey, Kate, I need a bus ticket. Can you buy a bus ticket for us? And actually what we see in our transactions is that the number of train tickets, the number of bus tickets that we sell is huge through our mobile app. We even had situations where the app of the NMBS or the LAN was out, was not functioning, but through KBC it was still functioning because we were using the APIs for the integration, but their front end was not working. So, you know, that has happened in reality. So what is important in here is that from our app, we want to offer a very personal, very nice customer experience to the end users, but we also want to go beyond banking. Another examples I will show you now about beyond banking, because we believe very much as well, if you want to really attract your customers, you have to think and put yourself in his shoe or her shoes. What makes sense for him or her beyond banking? And then it can be, for example, yes, I'm on the street, I park my car, and now normally I have to send these SMSs to these ticket numbers to park a car. Now, you know, there is this app on Kate, and you say, okay, this is a number of the parking slot. Yes, everything is arranged for you. Your ticket starts. And then what is nice as well is when you start back in your car, Kate informs you, hey, don't forget, you just, you know, I think you left the parking space now. Should I just stop paying? But that's another example I will give in a minute. But you see here, there are examples about how, and they all have in the end a relationship to a financial transaction, but it all can plays a role into how the personal digital assistant Kate can help you for more convenience. It can be about mobility. It can be about your leisure, about telco. Another example that we have is we have made quite some deals with some other, Pizza Hut, you know, or some shops that we have where people can get, you know, discounts. So if, you know, you subscribe for it, you pay, and we know that you do your shops in that shop, and do your and then we pay you back at the end of the month because you have both this or that, so you get the cash back. Again, these are benefits that KBC customers can benefit from. But even more, we open up our app as well for non-KBC customers. So it is not just for KBC customers, also non-KBC customers can just download the app and start using some of the benefits. Because we believe as well, once you start using it, you don't want to go back. So it as well has been an opportunity for us to turn leads into customers by people using it. So now, this was a little bit about the background. Let's now look into the more technicality. Right? So we started in 2018 with building a chatbot first. So what is a chatbot? Chatbot is like, okay, you're doing a conversation, Q&A. So you ask questions, you get answers. Typically, you need a knowledge base that's going to feed your Q&As, but so you have a conversational interface. And most of the time, that's what is written. You could also do this verbally. And then you need a type of framework if you want to build some intelligence in it. We have chosen for an open source framework, Varna. Now, Kate is not a chatbot. Our Kate is a personal digital assistant. And there are some key differences what makes her a digital assistant and not a bot. First of all, everything that she offers gives us end-to-end service integration. Explained before, if you ask for a debit card, or you ask for a mortgage, or you ask for something else, we go into the end-to-end systems to really make it happen. So it's not something that you just keep some with a question, you have a question, I give an answer. No, it's really about, if you want to do a payment transfer now, it's happening now and you see it immediately on your account. Or you want a debit card. Okay, I ask you some next questions and yes, your debit card is already immediately on your mobile phone and you see it is being a new card and you will receive it via the mail in 2 or 3 days at home. So you really see it instantly because it's also part of the backend systems that are feeding back this whole app. This is only what you can do if you go back to back into the end system. So that's the one key thing. The second thing is we have been working on giving Kate a memory. Now we have memories as persons. We have short-term memories and long-term memories. Kate doesn't have a long-term memory. We're still working on that one, but she does have a short-term memory. That means if you start a session with her, you ask something and then you go back and do something else, you go back to Kate, she will remember what you have asked before. She will ask you, do you want me to pick up where you stopped before, or do you want to ask something else? Yeah. So that is as well that we know that that gives more convenience to people. If they know that, you know, she remembers what you have been asking, it makes a difference in the customer experience. And then thirdly, is we are investing a lot as well in a feedback loop, because there's a lot of artificial intelligence behind the scenes as well, a lot of models using a lot of data. Now the system needs to learn, and we are expressing internally that Kate has an autonomy. With autonomy, we mean that she can autonomously identify what you try to do, and she can help you successfully till the end. And we want, Kate has been born 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, we're growing her autonomy more and more. And we're growing it not only, in the beginning, she was maybe only covering banking, then she was adding insurance, and now we're adding much more. And we see this autonomy from her as well growing significantly. But it doesn't come from itself. So this whole learning, having this feedback, is not something that you do fully automated. So we actually have a team of people who are every week analyzing the data from all the interactions, all the people using Kate. Of course, we have systems that are automating quite of this analysis, but you get insights about what transactions went or questions went well and which ones were not successful. And the ones that are not successful are being analyzed. And then based on that, we're training our personal assistants to actually grow her knowledge about intentions and intents to make sure that there she can become more autonomously. And that's a combination of user experience people as well as data scientists who do this together hand in hand in a mixed team. Yeah, and that is quite crucial as well. So you cannot expect that this assistant is learning and keeps on being, you know, user friendly up to the highest level from itself. You have to invest in this as well. Yeah. So we invest in this a lot because for us it's quite crucial in our service, our service to our customers. Now I have been explaining the first case is about you asking a question to Kate. More interesting as well becomes when Kate suggests things to you. She can, for example, suggest to you like, hey, your balance is almost zero. Should you maybe not transfer some money from your saving account to your current account? Could be an example. Or she's telling you like, normally every month you're paying so much money to this person. Is there a reason? Should you not pay this again? That could be things. So she can observe patterns. She can make suggestions of things that she thinks are good for you and suggest in a very gentle, friendly way. But we're doing this, Kate, to you, not only about banking and not only about insurance, but also in the beyond banking. The example I have just been given is if you actually ask Kate, like, I want, you know, I'm here at this car park. Can you start the car park? I mean, the parking service. Then you leave, you come back to your car. You forgot about things. Maybe you had a nice lunch. And then your car park bill may still continue. Now, Kate will tell you, that happened to me as well. He tells you, hey, Isabel, I think you left your parking spot now. Should I stop paying? And then you say yes. And so that are a type of conveniences that really can make a difference. And it can be small things. It can also be more, impactful things. One example, is a true story, is that we had a big storm beginning of this year in Belgium. Don't know if you had storms here as well with these extreme weather conditions. There was one day, there was a storm, I still remember. It was on a Friday. I was actually in the office. And the reason why I remember is because when I left the office, one of the bars for the parking spaces with the wind was actually felt on my car. So I remember. And that day, a lot of people had damages in the houses because of the extreme weather conditions. There was a lot of wind, there was a lot of rain at certain locations. And so what we decided, okay, let's just help Kate here a little bit. And we told Kate, all these regions are regions where we think there could be a damage. So at that moment, Kate has been contacting all our KBC customers on those locations. We know that there has been a storm, you are insured with us, maybe you had some, damage at your house or your garden or your car. Please, I will help you with registering this damage. And people could actually register everything, even taking the pictures, upload the pictures. So the whole end-to-end journey was there for customers to register the damage. But the benefit was that as a bank and insurer, in only a few weeks' time, we had a complete view about how much it would cost us as a bank of insurance costs because of this damage. Something that in the past, before digitalization, would take you 7-8 months. We get it now solved through the system, through Kate, in only a few weeks. And you know what is a good thing? At the same time, all your people, all your insurance agents can still do sales. But in the past, they were busy during 7-8 months with contacting the people and helping them, to claim their damages. So it really can help you because you actually, in a user-friendly way, you're supporting the customer. So this is an example. I think here another example is given. I cannot read it. This is, for example, imagine that you're traveling abroad and your debit card is not selected to be used abroad or outside Europe. Then Kate can inform you and say, I know you're now outside of Europe. Maybe you want to change some settings in your phone and use your debit card. And this is the way how you do it, or I can do it for you. So there are many options there. So this is really an interesting part because it's really about Kate to you. But you can imagine how much can Kate contact you? When am I helping you? When am I bothering you? It's a very fine, thin line about helping you and zorgen, what's the word in English, to take care of things. Yeah, without, boring you about too many things. So that's why it's important that in this Kate to you cases, we have been building a few components. First one is about the monitor. So it's a part of our architecture, which has been building, which is actually looking to everything that is happening, all the data events. What is happening with you? Should I act or not on something? And so the monitor is actually the one deciding, yes, now is a reason, or now there is a reason to act and do something for Toller, for example. And then we have a second component, the recommender, which actually decides as a separate component. It's an open architecture. And that component is going to decide based on all this input that I just have received, and I know it's now time to act. What will I recommend to the customer? What will I, Kate, say to the customer? What is the message I want to bring to him or her? And then the third question is still about how will I bring this message? Will I just do it when the first time the person is going into an app session? Will I send an email? When the person is contacting our contact center, what channels will I use to convey this message? And we also have put some limits about you can only convey or using those or those channels so many times to interact with the customer. Yeah. So this and much more things gives, I mean, again, there are many AI models behind the scenes as well, because you can imagine that there are quite some AI models that are monitoring all type of data, actually are feeding the monitor, they're feeding the recommender, they're feeding the alert, they're actually deciding what channels to use, what channels are most successful with which person, to really make it personal and to truly make it proactive. These are components, the ones of the U to Kate, the ones really which makes Kate a personal digital assistant, and these components that we have built. And they were all possible to build this in a reasonable time frame. And with reasonable, I mean not 2 years, in a smaller time frame, because we have done so many experimentations before. Because we have been experimenting with chatbots, we have been experimenting with some open source framework, we have been experimenting with some voice, interface. We have been experimenting with the RASA framework. We have been experimenting with some AI bots, etc., and AI models, etc., and to bring all of this together. Yeah. So when the idea of Kate came to become more and more mature, it was as well about how to use the lessons learned from all the innovation experiments to bring them together to then see how can we build something? How can we build something that we can industrialize? It can go from experimentation into incubation. You see as well that this was as one of the group's components, the Kate component, which means it has been built between people from CSOB and the people from KBC. So we had IT people and business people at both sides. The work had been divided, and we have been building this on, amongst others, on the cloud. So we have been using components from Amazon. We also have been using components from our own, local, on-prem solution. So it's a combination of quite some things. But I think important here is to let you know that when you build these solutions today, like Kate to you and you to Kate, it's not anymore about one technology. It's about many technologies. We have still 85% of our bank transactions happening on the mainframe. Yeah, mainframe is very stable. Also remember the diagram about shit of yesterday. That's under control. Yeah, we have our systems under control. So we have good things there. And the mainframe has been built 40 years ago, 50 years ago, but it has been well designed by our engineers. People who are still working with us today, not all of them, but quite some are still working with us today. So it means that, we can leverage the design that was made at that time. It was made quite granular. It was quite made in building blocks. At that time, APIs didn't exist. I mean, APIs exist now. I mean, it's hot, but I think when I was doing the API integrations or the SDK integrations in 29 years ago, it was not so common yet. But the most important thing is that the things that you have in your landscape, in your IT landscape, that you build the things in an open way, componentized, modular, that they can actually, like Lego blocks, you can put them together every time that you need them. That really makes a difference for the end-to-end journey. Now, everything, what we do behind the scenes is using data. They explained about, we have tons of data. We have millions, billions of transactions. We have the payment transactions. We have the insurance transactions. We have all the queries that people are doing, but we also have a data about, people, if we are now going beyond banking, we also see certain data from there. Yeah. And whatever you want to do, if you have not a good data quality or you don't have good data, you can also not make the right conclusions out of there. Now, the level of quality, data quality that you're expecting is not the same that you need for a regulatory report as if you need for some AI models. There are some differentiations in there. But still, it is important that you stand still and understand about what's the data definitions I have, what really does the data mean? What are the concepts I have here? You have an understanding about what's the quality of the data. I mean, if you look to water, which glass of water will you drink? You don't know. I mean, maybe some are all lemonade, or maybe they're all water, and maybe they're coming from Switzerland, or they may come from, from India. It all depends on context if you want to drink the water or not. Same with data. If you're using the data, you cannot see it if the quality is there, but you should make sure that you can measure it, and that you can actually have an opinion about it. Data lineage is another thing that is often forgotten, but For us as a bank, it's quite important because we have some regulations about some Basel Committee regulations. You know, you only have to have one stream with bad data quality. It will make all the data that you derive from it bad. All the derived data. We have a lot of derived data. So it's important as well that when you use data, that you understand where is data coming from and can I trust this source of data. And of course, data protection with GDPR. I mean, you only use the data customers have given their consent. You protect the data, you apply data minimalization, and many more practices that you need to apply about data. And so, yes, we have data lakes in place, we have data architecture in place. So what made us successful to become this most, best banking app worldwide? It was because we have been investing quite intensively and still investing in innovation. That's the full foundation. We have trend books, we have the experiments, going into the incubation. Because we have our basic systems in a good shape. Because without that, you cannot spend time on innovation on the day after tomorrow. So, and this is not a given for every bank. It's not a given for every organization. And you see as well, I mean, it also means that because we go that route, also the volumes on our systems are increasing. 62 million mobile sessions last year in December compared to the year before. It's doubling. It's huge. It means as well, your systems must be able to scale with these volumes. Volumes you may not think of as from the first day of day one. 52% digital sales on average, so just using the mobile. And here you see some other figures. I think this one really shows to you as well that the services that we are offering in beyond banking are very popular. And they're used quite a lot as well. You really see there as well, because we're following up these trends, but this is really a success. And actually, we have been celebrating last week the 1 million KBC user in Belgium using Gate. So we're also monitoring how many people are using Gate. We had the 1 millionth person using Gate, which is also, I think, again, a success. So I started with this slide, you have seen it before. So with Gate, we just have been through this circle. We went from inspiration, exploration, up to industrialization. Yeah. So, and we have gone through a similar type of life cycle with the Gate coin. The Gate coin, I don't know, have you heard about the Gate coin? Yeah? Okay. So this is one of our other innovations. It's about programmable money. So money you can program. Money for which you can put conditions. Money which can be valued €1 today, maybe becomes valued €1.50 tomorrow under certain conditions. Or money that you can only spend on green deals. Or money you can only spend on healthy products. There are many possibilities there. And so we have been, again, focusing on innovation, experimentation, ideation, and so on blockchain. We have some people already busy with that for 4 years, give you an idea. And when I joined was around Christmas, we got a request. Can you make Gatecoin ready to be in production in 6 months' time? So we had 5 months, 6 months to build it and to make sure we can go live in it. Because we had a big event. We wanted to really launch our Gatecoin for that. So Gatecoin is a new, as I say, a programmable money. It's a coin. It comes with conditions that we have launched that is based on distributed ledger, general ledger, which is used today only in the KBC closed loop. It means it's only KBC people who can use this Gatecoin. It's not like the other cryptocurrencies. It's really something we protect because we also put balance sheet against it. So we say it's valued €1. So we have been launching this and we have been testing that at a big volume. This has been a concert in Belgium. Werchter, location in Belgium, well known for its concert. And our CIO, you have seen before, Johan Thijs, I made it a personal, he wanted to organize again a team event for the 14,000 employees of KBC in Belgium. And so he wanted to do it outside because of Corona. Best is still to do it outside. So what best thing you can do then to say, okay, we have these big festivals, and I make an agreement with the festival that I can get at least 10,000 seats for the festival. So everybody of KBC employee got a free ticket to go to the festival. And then depending if there were still tickets free, we could actually, as well take a partner with us. So we were there with 10,000 people. And that's where we have been launching the Gatecoin in production for the first time. So it means that all the KBC employees got access to Gatecoins. We received some Gatecoins for free from our boss, to be able to spend them on the festival. And on the festival, you could actually spend them to buy beer, buy cocktails, to eat French fries, or to eat something else. And besides having the Gatecoins, which is, it's like a payment that you do, and you can order Gatecoin, and then it goes from your real balance as well, but we also made sure that the whole facilities at that festival, because typically people have to buy tickets, paper tickets. Then you have huge queues before you can buy something. Now, because we had rented part of this location, we had our own KBC zone. And in the KBC zone, we had our own catering. We had the catering, meaning use the Gatecoin to actually, or the app, to actually either buy Gatecoins or to order your food. So on the app, we ordered our beers or cocktails or French fries. We got the QR code. We went to the stand and then you immediately paid French fries, paid so many beers. So the queues at KBC zone were much less than the queues at the big festival where you had many more people, because we use not only the advantage of the blockchain, but as one of the whole facilities to digitize that as well. Yeah. So this is something as a new innovation that we are currently working on to further commercialize it. So you will hear more about that as well, starting in Belgium and Czechia, and then it will also go to the other countries. It's another example of a group component that we built within the group, where we do say copy paste, and we used as well in the other countries. We really believe this is something that we will not only use for KBC, but again, something that we can leverage in a closed loop in the beyond banking as well. It's really something where we see a big business model for the future. So this was another very short cycle of innovation. In a few, I think in 1 or 2 hours, I will do the kickoff of our IT Summer of Innovation. So we will do a hackathon this week about all types of technical experiments in the organization, where we will be, do the first experimentation for something we don't know yet that will become the next innovative product in our organization. And all of this would not be possible without having a great team. So that's why really we are investing a lot as well, as I explained in the beginning, in internalizing, in having more internal people, IT people, technical engineers joining our teams, because we believe it's a win-win. It's a win for the people to join us, to really be part of a journey, to be part of a culture, which is a very strong culture, a culture where we really want to work, where we work inclusive internationally. So we have not only people in Belgium, but we also have people, Varna, Sofia, Prague, and Budapest, and we are growing. We have been growing in Belgium, we're also growing in the other countries, and we'll be growing more in the other countries than in Belgium in the future. We have actually a lot of people who will go into well-deserved pension in Belgium. So that's why as well, we really have a need to prepare for the future, for the coming 5 to 10 years, to get a rejuvenated team with us. So that's what, I think that's my main message is all the things we have been explaining. It's very nice, but you cannot do that if you don't have a very motivated team. If you have a very engaged team and you have a team with really good engineers who make this happen and who are also energized for these innovations. So with this, I'm going to close here the presentation, and I want to thank you for listening. And I hope you have been inspired a little bit as well with the way how we work.